good morning. We are here. I am awake on time. I actually made sure my husband got me up so that I didn't oversleep again. I've tried using alarms before, but I usually don't hear them, so let me put my tweet out. I am just glad it is about to be the weekend because I feel like I could use it. These last few weeks have been my husband's vacation, and I swear if it had actually been mine, which I guess kind of it was, but it's probably the one that I would like to forget about because it's been a very horrible one. Just with the sickies, and then my son getting the sickies, and the weather not cooperating. It's just been one thing after another that's just not worked out right. We had, you know, not grand plans. We weren't actually going anywhere specifically, like to a amusement park or anything, but I had wanted to do some work out in the yard and everything, and none of that came to be. Hey, Poi, good morning. Oh, thanks. As those of you that have stuck with me for a long while will realize, I'm kind of like the puny among the punies. So if like we start passing around germs in the family, I usually get it like the worst. I have the worst symptoms. I have it for the longest. So yeah, that's not too terribly unusual, but it just gets kind of depressing after a while. I sympathize with those that, habitually become sick because it's just draining on you, constantly trying to fight off the cooties. And once you get sick, then it's like you're susceptible to everything else that might be floating around, and so you get something else, and it's just one thing after another. It's always something with me, though. Okay, so enough about that. As you can see, I haven't done diddly squat since we last streamed over here on Parsley's Plot. I've been kind of brainstorming. I haven't really had a chance to pop into the game too much over the last few days. I've been keeping myself off the computer, just trying to get out, get a little bit of sun, drinking a lot of water, trying to make sure that I don't let myself fall into another bout of yuckiness. Um, so mostly I've just been kind of brainstorming in my head, trying to think of items that I might could use for this or that. Um, but I did want to go ahead and rearrange some of this a little bit to make this a little bit more balanced. And I was trying to think, when it comes to these little fairy tale stories, um, especially when you're doing kind of just a very rough thing for like a little play set, or theater set, or however you want to say it, uh, you go for more iconic type of uh, structures or items. Hey Bones, good morning. So like, excuse me, when it comes to like the seven dwarfs, their cottage is one thing. You could also do a mining scene where you have them going to work, where they whistle and carrying their pickaxes and stuff. So you could have like an opening of a little mine and have some like mine carts and mining gear laying about. There's the what is it, Maleficent's or whatever her name is, uh, her castle scene where she's talking to the mirror or whatever. You could have a little scene like that. There's the scene where Snow White is already asleep and she's in that like crystal thingamabob, casket or whatever, or a little bed. Um, Oh, is it? Well, go ahead. We'll probably be here. I plan on streaming for about an hour, so if you're going to be back before then, we should be able to see you again. So have fun with the breakfast. Um, but things like that that you want to be sure to include in your set pieces, like if we were going to do a whole production uh, uh, setting for each like part of the film or the book or the story, um, you would like this would be one set scene and it's like the double, and again you would have one like for the mirror and maybe where she talks to the huntsman or whatever, and that kind of thing. But since I'm just going to be doing this one in particular, I was trying to think of what I could put out in front of the cottage, and I figure the apple or the apples would be probably ideal. This would be the scene where the little old lady would come and offer Snow White that poison apple. The problem is I was having a hard time trying to figure out how we might make apples. I know we have an apple cart, which really seems kind of out of place to me. Let's see, I think it's called the Oran cart, vendor cart. It actually has apples on it. Um, so there's that. If you just want to, if you're not really worried about it looking kind of out of place, you could just pretend maybe the old lady is at a cart and she sells um, uh, Snow White the thing. You could do it that way. There's also, if you go to the, I think it's the Renowned Vendor over here, there's the uh, fruit bowl, I believe. Let's see. Whoops. Just undo my edit there. Sometimes it'll click right through him. Decor. There's the fruit bowl here. No, don't want to look at me. And it has some apples on it. Now, you would have to somehow find a way to kind of disguise all the other fruits if you don't want that. But we don't have any just apples by themselves, which is unfortunate. I would love to have like the fruit, whatever that is, the tentacles by themselves, the apples by themselves. I've seen some food vendors out in the WildStar open world. They've got like corn cobs and various other sandwiches other than the one that we were given. Some breads and things. It would really be fun if we got a lot more food items. But we don't have any of these. But I'm showing you these two items, the cart and the bowl, in the event that you try to set up something that needs apples. That's two places that I'm immediately aware of that we actually have those particular fruit. However, that I don't think will work very well for this. I could probably go ahead and do, well, my bags are like loaded. Um, do the fruit bowl and just kind of hide the rest. But since I'm not actually prepared and I don't feel like switching characters, I'm going to try and make some fake apples um, for this little scene here. So, red things. We have some stools that are red. There's both the tiki stool and the red cushion stool. But the problem with them is they're flat. They're best for like tomato slices, um, that kind of thing. Or if maybe you're doing a painting of an apple, they might work. Even though with the stools, they have that functionality, so they highlight green when you mouse over them, which kind of throws things off a little bit. Other red stuff, we have, of course, the firework dynamite, which is probably what I'll be using today. So I'm just going to go ahead and put one out. But there's also the banded dynamite. That's a little bit red for those that haven't had an opportunity to unlock the fireworks. This is an alternative. It's not ideal because it's, you know, several sticks bundled together, but it's one thing. Trying to think what else has red. See, it's a little flat. I've seen people use this stool and the other stool for like cherries on top of desserts, cupcakes, things like that. Um, there's this, but it's a little the wrong shape, more so than the dynamite stick. This would be a good gnome hat, I think. Um, this one, again, too, is not quite the right shape. What we could use is like a red mushroom. I think that would be usable. Other than that, I don't think we have too much. There might be some signs that have things. Let's see. Clear that out so it doesn't limit. There's not this one, but there's another sign. I don't know if it's the armorer sign or what, but I think it has a red, kind of like this, but it doesn't have writing on it. It's just a really bright red, but it's got a little topper on it. You might be able to use that. Trying to think what else could work. Let me see if I can call that one up. Let's just call up signs. Yeah, this one here. It has that red little bulby thing, but again, it has that metal topper. I don't know how usable that might be for you if you decided to try and use that. But they're really just, I couldn't think of very many items that had red bits that you might can use that aren't flat, that has any kind of roundness. Now, I say that, and used to the go-to item for red fruit, especially on people that were making faux trees, bushes, or their own baskets of fruit. Used to, you could get away with using the balloon. However, because of how the wind affects it, it moves too much. It just throws everything off. We had people using these as berries on their holly wreaths for Winterfest, and now they're just like all over the place. And it really just kind of ruins the usability of the balloon. I used it a lot for many, many things. People use them as like noses for, you know, clown faces at their carnival parks. Um, just all sorts of stuff. And now they're practically, you can't use them for anything other than that unless you're super creative beyond what my capacity is, because it's just, you don't want an apple that's, you know, moving around. So it's unfortunate because that would probably be the number one thing that I would go to for a red fruit. You know, if it just stood still like it used to, that would be perfect, but now it doesn't. So unfortunate. I don't know if it behaves the same way inside. I've heard some say it does, some say it doesn't. I think, I don't know if it's affected by the particular sky feature that you have going on. It doesn't seem to make any difference. I've seen it behave this way on a variety of different plots with different, you know, rainy, dark. It didn't matter. It always looked weird. So unfortunately, that's not the one we can use. So I figured Probably the easiest would just be a regular dynamite stick. Again, if you don't have access to these, then your next closest would be the Bandit Dynamite bunch. Um, it won't be as smooth looking because it's, obviously more than one stick. So there's my little very makeshift apple. So now it needs a leaf, right? You could just use some of these little green pillows. Um, grab one of those, shrink it down, and place it just so. Probably need to go a little bit bigger. Trying to lay it down a little bit. And then maybe a smaller one, or maybe you want an actual stem. You could use uh, a piece of the 2x4, although at that size it might not be visible straight up. You could use like one of the logs, the brown thorny log maybe, if you want an actual stem. So like, let's see. We want the single. So let's see. Put that straight up, I guess. Now, if you don't want to go through the trouble of using so many pieces, you could try maybe using the lily leaf item. I'll show you that here in a second. Just try to find kind of around the center of it and then move the leaf up just enough where it looks like it's on the stem part. So there's our little faux apple. I'm going to move this little one out of the way. So there's one version of an apple. It's a little big, if my character tried to take a bite out of it, it's probably like, you wouldn't even see the bite, it would be so small. But, this is a place, so some of the props will tend to be oversized, a little exaggerated, and that's okay. Because remember, your audience is going to be, right around here, so you want to be able to let them see those props. And having a little bitty, hand-sized apple is not very visible from a distance, so think about that. Another version would be like, again, using this as the base of the apple. Try the lily leaf. The only problem with it is it's got several leaves, lots of stems, and it moves. But it is an alternative if you want to try it. That way you don't have to use several pieces, one for the stem, one for the leaf, one for the apple. You just reduce it down to 2 pieces. But you'll have to get it just right. Of course, you're going to have to make it smaller because that's a really big leaf for that little apple there. And when you bring it up, then this other one shows up. And again, it moves, so you have to kind of watch where it lands and just kind of make sure you push it in far enough so it doesn't look like it's totally away from it. And then what I would probably do is to kind of give an excuse for the second leaf is I would just add a second apple. Maybe look like it's leaning or something. I don't know. It's going to be awkward. Not the best. I think I prefer this one just because it's stationary. And probably the simpler, even though it's one extra piece cost. This, you can't hardly see the stem because the leaf is so tiny. Hey, Tobbs. So I would stick with this one. Now, if you wanted to pretend that the trees are actual apple trees, that might prove more difficult because obviously you can't put that dynamite up that size. It would be sticking out the back. Now, if you're not worried too much about that, then I guess it's possible if you're just going to be faking it from the front. But remember that as you turn this scene around, if you have it set up like this, it will be showing on the other side, so you can't just do it like this. It would be fun if you could and not have it this other stuff sticking out, but just trying to think of how you might do that elsewhere. The best I can think of is just use several small ones. Maybe even have to slant them a little bit and make a round yourself. It's not going to be the same though. They're going to disappear at a shorter distance. See how the rendering is this distance. I can see this one, but I can't see that one there. I have to zoom in a lot more. Can't use the stools and stuff because again, the bottoms will be sticking out. So I think it's smarter just to, unless you build the trees differently, it's not practical to put the apples in the tree. It's better to just leave the apple on the ground. Maybe if you want to put a basket or something, but I think on the ground is okay. Oh, is that on NA or Jabbit? And I'd need the full name if it's because well, unless you quit before that. I haven't been on NA side since well, when we did the CBDC stuff. It's TOBZ. Is it just the one name, or is it um, does it have a second name? Just Tubbs, that's it? Hmm. It must be a really old one then. Oh, okay. Tubbs too. Well, I'll check it out. I'll try and remember to go by um, later today. I have access to NA. I just don't do the house tours over there on the stream. Now I do go and visit personally myself, just to check out because there's a lot of EU builders that uh, really make some incredible stuff. I just haven't broken into doing the actual streaming the tours from that side. I say yet. I really don't know if I have any plans. Lately, it seemed like I've barely hung on to being able to do Jabbit because of personal problems, but yeah, maybe it's something I can, if I'm going to do it, I may wait till the start of the new year. Just kick off the new year with a new schedule arrangement or something. The main thing I was concerned about was splitting up the time, because as it is, when someone builds something on, say, Exile side on EU, and they'll say, hey, I built this, it's open, ready for viewing. It may be a few weeks before I even get to it, because one, I have a long list of houses that I want to tour that I just haven't gotten to yet. Plus, I alternate between the factions. If I introduce doing also NA side, then I also have to split not only between the factions, but then between the regions, and that could spread out the wait time even further. And I'm not sure I want to do that. It's just either I'm going to do like just alternate between the regions each week, and then do a little bit of Dominion, a little bit of Exile each time, or one week be NA Exiles, next week NA Dominion, and then the same for Jabot, so it's spread out over a whole month. I don't know how I want to do it, if I was going to do it. But that's why I haven't done it. There's things that I have to consider, because I know some players have been waiting, have waited in the past for like well over a month before I've actually gotten to their plot. And sometimes, I know a lot of builders like to leave their stuff once they've built it. It's there. They're not going to remove it. But others, like myself in the past, we would build, and then like we'd leave it for a week or two, and then we were ready to scrap it and start something new. And I hate making folks wait. I feel bad when that happens, so I'm hesitant to add to my schedule stuff. So there's an apple. It's not ideal for every situation. In fact, there was someone talking about, there was a thread in the forums about pizza, and I had linked them some images and gave them some description as to what items I used over the pizza slices and making the whole pizza using, the cheese blockless wedges, and dynamite for the pepperoni and stuff. And the problem they have is they're wanting to put it on top of a table that there's no way to hide anything that might be poking out through the bottom. And this would be the same issue. If I was to put this on a table, the table bottom would either have to be super thick or completely solid, so that you didn't see the bottom part of this dynamite stick, because obviously it's fairly big. Same way with like if we wanted to put it on a wall, if it was a thin wall, like when we do the paintings, that's more difficult to deal with than if it's an actual prefab wall where you don't see anything behind there. So a lot of the stuff we make, or that I make, is what do you call it? Circumstantial, I guess is the word. It's based off of my needs and the situation at hand. It's not always perfect for every use. Now, like the faux tree, that could be used anywhere. Even if you wanted to put it in your actual yard, that would work if you want weird trees like this. But the apple would only work on the floor or a solid base of some sort, like on a countertop. That would work okay. You want an apple on your countertop, that kind of stuff. What is my name? Carrot. That's my name. That's all you need to know. Carrot. You can call me Kai. Some of them say K. But the full character name is Carrot Greenleaf. If you see a Greenleaf running around, typically it's me. Now, Poise also got some on NA side, but if it's EU, it's usually going to be me. Any Greenleaf. They're all vegetables and herbs and things like that. So like this one here, this one's Parsley. Now, Parsley's plot is not open for visitation at the moment. I'm just working in the shadows for now. but once we're done. So I was trying to think of other things that might be like a classic element that would, when you think of Snow White, what kind of things would pop into your head. Again, the mirror is probably one of the biggest things. If you're wanting to do a scene with that, for mirrors, windows are usually a go-to fave. Um, like these here. Uh, Not this one, but when is it? Yeah, it's this one here. Maybe not the one with the floral on it, but maybe it is this one. Yeah, the large barred. They turn it around and use this as for like bathroom mirrors, vanity tables, that kind of thing. You could use that for the mirror on the wall as well. The only thing is, I think for the story's sake, typically it's kind of more ornate looking, with like filigree around the framework and everything. I really haven't looked at any pictures today or recently about it, but probably the one that you would want to aim for is like, say, the Hugel portraits. Those are really good for if you want to give some fancy like framework there. And what I would do is I would just use set this up right. Make it a little big. Again, when you're doing the props for like a theater kind of thing, oversize is not that bad of a deal. And then you would need some way to kind of fill this in as a mirror instead of a picture. Now, probably the best way is presumably the mirror would be hanging on a wall of some kind, right? So let's just I'm gonna shrink this down a bit. This is just an example. I'm trying to throw out some ideas for someone that might want to try and do this. And it also could be used for like your home stuff and everything. But you could try and use a good metallic-y mirror-looking surface is the metal plates. Got a really nice shiny back to it. The windows, the only problem is because of it being a particular shape, the oval for this cutout, you might end up having to use several pieces just to get it to work right. See if I can make this work. See how I'm having to use several just to get the look. Now, when you're doing several like this, try and kind of keep it kind of uniform. That way it doesn't look too odd. And you will have to make adjustments because it does flicker when you have them overlapping. This is one way to do it. A lot of pieces, yes. But if it's just a single prop and then it's an important prop, you know, you might deem it worth it. And yes, because there's several items overlapping, it does, you know, create lines and things. But since this is like one of those, you know, weird magical mirrors, maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe it looks like swirlies. I would probably go ahead and put one right up in the middle. There's your strange little mirror. If you want, you could put like one of those, because, you know, doesn't the mirror have like a talking face in it or something? You could get creepy and put like a bust face in there. Shrink it down a bit. Now you'll see this is sticking out, right? We'll make adjustments to that shortly. That's why I'm kind of tilting him forward so I can kind of hide some of it, but you want his face showing. It looks like he has a mohawk now. And then just link all those up. I'll link all these plates together. And I'll link those to the frame, and I'll link him to the frame. And then I'll just push, oops, it this way, yes. Push as much as I can. Try and get that a little hidden. So now you have a creepy talking mirror, face mirror thing where she's saying mirror, mirror on the wall kind of junk. Yes, it's still kind of poking out, but again, depending on where you put it, how you put it, maybe you want to make it where there's an actual a base to the mirror, and it's not just sitting there by itself. You can cover it up with that, but you know, do what you can. You could probably get away with using, let's see, I'm trying to think what else could work as the background for the mirror here. Looks like he's got horns now. Dang it. A little bit. Oh, we'll just leave it. You could use, let's see, trying to think. Window. I don't think using multiples of the windows will work. Not wind. Because the windows themselves have these lines here. Hey Dane, thank you for the hosting. Appreciate it. But because of the lines, the windows work, even the large one, it's too flat. Now, if the glass part was actually a little bit more bowed out, that would probably work okay. If you want to go with more of a white than this dark silver, of course, you can brighten that silver up by adding some special lighting, like a sconce maybe. And that will make it a little bit more shiny. You could like underlight it make it even more creepier. I'm gonna leave it visible just a little bit so I can find that thing again later. Scale that down just a bit. But like if we do it like this, then you see the glass work a little bit more. And again, even though the lines are there, it looks swirly as if it's kind of mystical looking or something, I guess. Yes, you can see where I've messed some of the edges, but you know, this is just a quick and dirty example. But if you want it more a different color, I would say probably go with the fireworks if you can. The red, I think it is the red rocket. It's more white, which sounds weird. The red rocket is white, but turn it this way, it's a little better, I guess. Again, you'd have to use several of them. But it's a better contrast to the gray of the statue's face, for one. That might be a plus. Again, the overlap may cause a little bit of flickering with some of the items that are really close together, but you can adjust that as you need. You see I've pushed this one really far back. A little closer. See the difference? His face is more visible. 880 plat, goodness. How anyone can raise that amount, I don't know. I have like a little over 100, I think, and that's taken me since beta, since we started to get that collected. But you know, I know a lot of people like to play the auction house and stuff, the crafting and everything. In some games, you know, if you take up a crafting profession, you can kind of count on being able to make money off of that. But I took up architecture, whatever it was, to make furniture, and I just use it for myself. And for those that I do build for, I usually do it for free. So I guess that's why I'm not rolling in the dough. Okay, another thing. If you are planning to do the place where she's being displayed, I guess, after she's already fallen asleep, a good item for that would be the display case. Uh, this here. You'll have to build around it. You know, first you'd want to, whoops, first you'd want to get the size right. You know, based on whoever's playing it, you know, make sure it's sized right. Uh, And then I would say build up the bottom. And probably the easiest, cheapest way to do that is just to give it some 2x4s along the side here. Gotta make sure this is straight. Let me just move this to the side. No. Again, these won't be stained. These are just some random examples for those that might want to do something similar to this and are looking for some ideas. That's one thing a lot of people ask me whenever they're looking into getting into the game, you know, how do you make the monies? I only ever made mine through questing mostly. Just lots and lots of questing, like the dailies. That was probably my go-to, source of income. But I do know that there were some that really made a lot off of the auction house and playing the cred scene. I know a lot of people made some money off of that. How exactly, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was they actually paid real money to get some of the cred and then turned that into in-game money. I don't know. Or if they used their Omnibits to buy it. Just whisper it to Poi, Tobbs. Poi can link it for you. Because Moobot doesn't like the links from just anybody. And I prefer to keep it that way because we have had some troubles in the past with folks coming in and just being a little bit disruptive. It's nothing personal, I promise. Everybody's treated the same. I'm trying to get away with just using one big block here, but not quite cooperating. Again, these are really quick and dirty builds. We're more or less just brainstorming today. I didn't really come with a building plan in mind, so I'll have to forgive on that. Okay, and of course you don't want the bottles and stuff showing, so you'll have to build a base for it. I'm going to Oh, I'm not doing any NA tours, sorry. No amount of plat is going to deter me on that or change my mind or however you want to look at it. I don't do this for the plat. I just do it for fun. So you just have to buy, you're at my whim. Okay, so I think just one more will be good. And then, obviously whoever's playing her wouldn't be able to actually fit in there, unfortunately, but this could be the case. You could put a mannequin inside there, dress her up in some yellows and blues and things just to kind of represent the colors that she wears. That would probably be it, but that would be one way to do it. Have the mannequin laying inside there. I say mannequin because the mannequin you can actually dress. We do have NPC decor that you could probably put in there as well, but they would have a certain look. Well, I tell you what, Tubbs, if I ever do any tours, I'll make sure that is among the first that I show off. That's all I can say, because at the moment I am not inclined to do NA tours at this moment. That has been the case for a long while. Like I said, I've had other people ask, and I politely say no, not right now. The only way I could say, if you want it, if you really desperately want to get yours shown from NA side, is to reach out to a uni. Red Lotus, I think, is the name. There's also Haiku Jake, I think it is their names. It's Ayuni Ku and Crew. They have a Twitch channel as well. They don't have a specific schedule for house tours, but they have been known to stream some. And they are exclusively NA. So, well, I'm not desperate for money. But anyway, if you're really inclined to get your house visited on NA side and are, determined, a uni and them would be the ones to get a hold of. I believe Chef Noriak as well does some, but he doesn't stream them. He just videotapes them and sends them straight to YouTube. But he has done a few in the past as well. What is it? I think it's Tours. Is it Tours? Oh, I can't remember. I think it's NA Tours. There you go. Oh, I should change that too. They used to run them every Monday, and now they're just kind of on a random schedule. Ayuni said that they were having trouble keeping it on the Mondays, so I need to update that. But yeah, I think they've done it 3 or 4 times, I think, so far. I really don't know. I know Niliana used to, but I don't think she plays WildStar anymore. And I think iDestinia does his on EU side as well. Trying to think, there's really not a whole lot of people that do housing stuff, so it's kind of touch and go. I know Chestnut used to do something called Yardcore, but I haven't seen anything recent from her in a while on that. No, Tubbs. Well, technically yes, but I don't live there. So I'm American, but I don't live in America. So I'm not NA. I'm EU. That's my crew. The weather's better over here for me. Okay, so I know that's not a whole lot, but maybe it's giving some ideas. Just even if you don't plan on doing a Snow White scene, if you're looking for some kind of a display case that doesn't have things already in it, but you want some kind of glass covering, and rather than constantly resorting to using the framed glass to be able to put it together, this is one way to do it. It's a nice little way of making it a very kind of quickie display case for something that you want. There's other ways to do it. If you have just a cabinet or countertop, you can do this as well. Add a little bottle or something to the top and it becomes a cloche of some sort. Again, with the mirrors, if you're wanting to do something fancy, I wouldn't probably opt for this type for just like a bathroom or something, but for like a magical mirror, these layered bits don't look too awful, I don't think. Um, well, I appreciate it, Tobbs. I would say just um, I wouldn't say advertise it on the forums because then you have everybody and their brother, but I say just go drop into game if you can for an hour or two and just spread the love. Give it to some of the lobies or something, and don't advertise it or anything because then you get a bunch of trolls. But just or maybe do a couple of random visiting, and if you see a plot that you like and you want to support that builder, mail them something. That might be. Well, it sounds like you put a lot of time and effort into it. Maybe a uni and them will give you a good tour then. Because I know they're always looking for people to suggest, because they don't do like me. Usually I just go and visit myself, and not myself, but I go out and visit on my own and find places, and I don't care if they want me to visit their place or not. I just stream it. But anywho, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I know it's a kind of a short stream, and I've been kind of scatty these last week or so. I do apologize for that, especially yesterday. I had every intention of getting up and streaming yesterday, but I overslept majorly, and it just threw my whole day off. And I just wasn't able to squeeze in a stream yesterday morning, even at the hour that I did finally get up. Um, but I promise I will work this weekend to have some things lined up for us to work on starting Monday for next week. Remember, we do have the Wednesday house tours as well. If any of you are planning to participate, well, I forgot to put the curtain down, participate in the CBDC yourself, we will be having a uh, showcase, a CBDC showcase at the end of the month. I believe it's on the 30th. So use that date as a goal time to have your projects finished if you want me to stream it on that special showcase stream. Remember, just kind of, while some of these fairy tales are really well known, um, maybe not everybody is familiar with them. So if you're going to submit a project for review or for showing, just kind of give me a hint as to what fairy tale it's related to, just so that I get that correct at least, and where it is on the plot. And from there, we'll just do the stream. It doesn't matter what faction, doesn't matter what region. I will go to both, either or. But just keep it fairy tale related. That's what we're looking for. So Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, I think, what is it, Lewis Carroll, there's, um, oh, the one that did like the Aladdin series, uh, stuff. I'm drawing a blank on others. The two are the big ones, but if you know some obscure ones and you want to do something for that, that's your prerogative. Just let me know what it is so I can kind of have an idea. Um, oh, well, that's unfortunate, Poi, but I understand. A lot of people are getting back into work, school, so they're having less time to dedicate to a lot of these projects. Plus, I know a lot of people have been getting burnt out. That's something my guild's been having to deal with. I really think my guild's, I hate to say it, and especially if any of them happen to be watching this, but I feel like ours is like on the verge of just completely disbanding because they've already ended the raiding. So a lot of our raiders have moved off or are planning to move off to other avenues. And while you can stay in one guild and raid with another, it's just natural that as you spend more time with that other group, you're going to want to bring your characters over there. So I really foresee our guild just kind of crumbling to nothing. So it's For me, it's been like name only for a little while now, so I don't know. If it ends up going bye bye, I probably won't join any other. I just don't want to put that. When I do something, I do it wholeheartedly, and it's just disappointing when it kind of falls apart like it does. But that's to be expected. People's priorities change. They get burnt out, they lose interest, and they move on, and that's just part of it. And if your guild isn't one of those that regularly recruits to bring in fresh faces, then you know becoming stale or just burning off into nothing is kind of to be expected. So you'd like to do a Red Riding Hood picture. Oh, are you not in a guild, Poi? I think I'll just probably just stay guildless if this one collapses. I don't want to stay if it's just there's nothing going on. And most of them just stay in touch on Discord, and I have been stubborn. I haven't gotten on it, so I don't want to do that. For Red Riding Hood, wow, that would be a tricky one because we have problems with red items, obviously, so that might be kind of tough. I'll give some thought though. I've been trying to come up with some more dresses that we can work on for what is it? Turnips plot. Oops, can't do that. That's probably what I'll be, is guildless. Because if it comes to the point where most of the people just end up leaving or I just don't see anybody, really it's kind of that way now. I may just disassociate myself and stay that way. That's what I ended up doing in other games. You know, start off with a bunch and they're all excited and yay, 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 and then a month or two later, it's like you never see them anymore, and you're practically playing alone all the time anyway. So it's kind of pointless. It's like, what's the point of being in a guild when there's no guild? Um, but I've been trying to think of other dresses we could try and make. I'll try and do that this weekend. Line up some ideas. Um, I just haven't had the time to really dedicate to it, so it's been kind of iffy. But I definitely want to make this kind of like a props where the people would come and say, yeah, I'd like to order this costume or that costume, that kind of thing. We'll see. I may make it where this is like just for fairy tales, and then like some other month we do some theme. I'll make it for that one. Like we have the holidays coming up. Maybe I'll do a Shadesy version and a Winterfest block over here. But we'll get to that eventually. Red Riding Hood in the forest. Well, the forest part's probably okay, I guess. So, we got lots of trees and stuff that you can use for that. But when it comes to making people, it's really tough because we don't have any like peach colored items for like flesh. Uh, I think the last thing I used, like for the ballerina, that was pink pillows, and those are awful to work with. They're horrible because they got those tassels that stick out weirdly. So when you're trying to use the edge of the pillow, it doesn't quite want to work right. And of course, the other pink pillows are a little too dark. So I don't know. I'm sure you'll think of something if you manage to squeeze out a little bit of free time for it. But I will do my best this weekend to try and line up a few ideas that we can play around with and expand upon. Definitely, though, I will probably be finishing up the. Oh, so just have like the red hood and woohoo. like a where is Waldo painting, but with Riding Hood. Well, you could do something like that. If you want to do just a painting, a fun one might be the Three Little Pigs. Um, I can think of, like the bricks, the brick pile for the brick house. Because for a painting, you're not having to think about three-dimensional per se. You just have to think about, can I hide most of it? You could use the brick pile for the brick house. There's the thorny logs for the one made of logs, and then some kind of a block of hay for the little hay house. For the pigs, though, I don't know. You might could get away with just using some plushies um, uh, uh, to represent the pigs. It doesn't have to go all full on detail kind of thing. Um, Trying to think, there's Jack and the Beanstalk. That would be a fun one. Just have mostly just kind of a ground with a few trees, and then have one of those the orange pillars that's got those big, tangly bits. Hide the little acorn at the top with something clever, and that'll look like the big beanstalk. And then have like a little miniature mannequin or something as Jack. Dress him all in green, a green outfit or something, and have him down at the bottom with some clouds up top, where the beanstalk's going up in the clouds. There's lots of little things we can do. Maybe we'll do a painting next week just for the fun of it. I'll try and think of something other than Red Riding Hood or whatever. um, and see what we can come up with. But I'll have something hopefully prepared or prepped, ready, in mind for next week. But remember, Wednesdays, house tours, CBDC showcased, end of the month. If you don't come for anything else, come for those days, because that's not my stuff, that's other people's, so that's much better. Again, appreciate the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the votes, the hosting. That's always appreciated. Um, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Good luck with your own housing projects. Even if you aren't going to be participating in the CBDC this month, I hope whatever you are working on goes well. We have had a release of a lot of new items like the waterfall decor pack. What was the other one? The Red Moon bar decor pack. Those two. And of course, Peregrine has been teasing us on Twitter about some of the new fall stuff. We saw some orange colored topiaries, the fall versions of like the WildStar and stuff. And I think some new gourds, I'm not sure. But yeah, people are already kind of getting excited about next month, because next month is Shades Eve coming in again. Are they going to bring back the stuff that we had last year? Are they going to give us some new goodies? Is it going to be a combination thereof? A lot of questions, a lot of hopeful stuff. But yeah. Uh, a lot of things to look forward to. And of course, Winterfest is right around the corner as well. So even if this particular CBDC doesn't interest you, maybe some of the stuff that comes up in the next months will. In the meantime, good luck with your stuff. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. See you later. Bye-bye.